Hello and welcome to this newscast. I'm Daniel Choy. Let's start with our first story. In response to President Park Geun-hye's message on Saturday, opposition party leader Moon Jae-in detailed his own vision for the economic prospects of reunification. Our Song Ji-sun gives us Moon's take on ensuring a bright future for Korea in these times of slowing growth.
A day after nationwide celebrations of Korea's liberation, main opposition leader Moon Jae-in laid out his vision for the integration of the two Koreas. In his speech marking the 70th anniversary, the head of the main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy said Sunday that Seoul should prepare for the next 30 years, with the goal of expanding its economic zone through economic unity. By bridging the Korean peninsula with other continents through the North Territory, Moon suggested that the resulting economic integration would create new jobs and growth momentum.
Reunification may not take place soon, but if our economic unity comes first, our companies will immediately gain access to a market of 80 million people. Korea will then be able to achieve a per capita income of $30,000.
Calling for reconciliation with the North, Moon also urged the government to resume reunions of separated families and restart the stalled six-party talks aimed at denuclearizing Pyongyang. The former chief of staff to late President Roh Moo-hyun finished runner-up to President Park Geun-hye during the 2012 presidential election and is a favorite to run the next race. In a statement, the ruling Tenuri Party responded to Moon's call for economic unity by labeling it a vague idea built on thin cloud. It also warned that careful discretion should be taken when approaching Pyongyang, considering its ongoing provocations. Song Ji-sun, Arirang News.
South Korean businesses with factories at the Inter-Korean Kaesong Industrial Complex will have to change working hours to adjust to North Korea's new time zone. Seoul's Unification Ministry said Sunday that the regime intends to follow its new standard time dubbed Pyongyang time, pushed back from its current time by 30 minutes when receiving South Korean commuters at the business park starting Monday. Earlier this month, North Korea said it would change its current time zone set by Japan during its colonial rule of Korea to mark the 70th anniversary of liberation this year. A South Korean official said the ministry will take all necessary measures to ensure a smooth transition to the new hours. As part of efforts to restart dialogue for holding temporary reunions later this year, South Korea will update the list of family members separated by the Korean War by next month. According to the South's Ministry of Unification, around 130,000 people were registered between 1988 and July 31st this year. However, nearly half, or around 63,000, have already passed away, and more than half of the surviving 66,000 are over the age of 80. A Unification Ministry official stressed the importance of updating the list for the sake of organizing future reunions. The goal is to complete and send the list to North Korea by Chuseok, the autumn harvest festival celebrated by both Koreas. Still, it remains unclear if North Korea will respond favorably to the South's proposal for a temporary reunion due to the current state of inter-Korean relations. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is facing criticism after delivering his highly anticipated war anniversary statement. Some in Japan are expressing disappointment over the missed opportunity to improve Seoul-Tokyo ties due to Abe's lack of sincerity. Hwang Sung-hee reports.
Former Japanese Prime Minister Tomichi Murayama, who gave a landmark apology for Japan's wartime past in 1995, was left unimpressed by the Abe statement issued on Friday.
I have no idea what he is trying to say.
While Prime Minister Shinzo Abe upheld his predecessor's apologies in a statement marking the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II, he also stressed the need for Japan's future generations to turn the page on history, a remark which left some confused.
I don't know what he means by not being predestined to apologize.
Japanese media outlets expressed disappointment, saying the statement could have been a turning point for Korea-Japan relations had Tokyo shown more sincerity. Regarding President Park Geun-hye's Liberation Day speech on Saturday, they said progress on the comfort women issue will play a key role between the two neighbors.
특히 일본 정부는 일본군 위안부 피해자 문제를 조속히 합당하게 해결하기를 바랍니다.
Officials from Korea and Japan have held 8 rounds of high-level talks to resolve the issue, but have yet to reach an agreement. The two sides are reportedly considering the so-called Sasae proposal that was brought to the table in 2012 by then Vice Foreign Minister Kenichiro Sasae. The main stipulations of the proposal include the issuing of a letter of apology to the surviving comfort women by the Japanese Prime Minister and financial compensation from the Japanese government. Experts say if the two leaders fail to mend ties in the second half of this year, bilateral relations could remain frosty until the end of their respective terms in office. Hwang Sang-hee, Arirang News.
The death toll from Wednesday's chemical warehouse explosion in China's port city of Tianjin continues to rise on this Sunday. According to Xinhua News Agency, that number has spiked to 112 while 95 people remain missing. Among the missing are 85 firefighters, with 46 people having been rescued from the site. China's Minister of Public Security, Guo Shenkun, says saving lives remains the top priority regardless of the 72-hour golden period for rescue. More than 1,000 firefighters, including hundreds from neighboring Hebei province, remains on the scene. The deadly explosions exposed weaknesses on how chemicals are transported and stored in China, prompting the State Council Work Safety Commission to order nationwide inspections. Two state-run Chinese news outlets, The Paper and the Southern Metropolis, reported that the warehouse was storing 700 tons of sodium cyanide, which is 70 times more than its capacity, and that authorities are rushing to clean it up. President Xi Jinping urged authorities to learn from the extremely profound lessons in the latest incident, as the Tianjin blast and a string of serious accidents recently exposed severe problems in the work safety sector. Now for an update on the latest efforts to raise the sunken Sewolho ferry here in Korea, vessels have arrived on Jindo to commence the salvage. The Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries confirmed Sunday that an 11,000-ton floating crane and a towboat are on site to begin the field investigation on Monday. Underwater research will start from next Sunday with the goal of removing oil remaining inside the sunken ferry and to install nets to prevent missing bodies from escaping the vessel. The consortium led by Chinese company Shanghai Salvage plans to lift the Sewolho onto a floating deck by as early as next year and then to shore by mid-2016. 295 people, mostly high school students, died in the Sewolho ferry sinking last April. The bodies of the 9 people are still missing are presumed to be inside the vessel. As it becomes increasingly likely that the U.S. Federal Reserve's looming rate hike, the first in nearly a decade, will take place in September, Reuters reports that officials at the Fed fear that further delay could damage the central bank's reputation. Analysts forecast the devalued Chinese yuan to result in increased volatility in the global financial market. And with emerging market currencies also becoming weaker, they expect concerns over those economies to expand, with the South Korean stock market remaining volatile as a result. Bank of Korea Governor Lee Ju-yeol said China's financial uncertainty, the volatility of the global market, and the instability of emerging countries will continue to be risks to the Korean economy this year. He added Korea will contemplate all possible scenarios and work out appropriate countermeasures. There's a special place in the heart of Seoul where you can meet Korean stars like Psy, Bae-yong-joon, and Kim Yeona all in one place. They're standing by for a photo op at the famed Grevin Wax Museum, which has opened its first Asian branch in Korea. Our Park Se-young takes us there.
Korean celebrities, historical figures, and sports stars are all immortalized in wax at the newly opened Grevin Museum in Seoul. Located in the City Hall Annex near the popular shopping district of Myeongdong, the museum features 80 life-size wax figures of world-renowned figures and celebrities. That list also includes 30 Koreans led by K-pop stars Psy, G-Dragon, and Rain, actor Bae-yong-joon and actress Chun Do-yeon, and athletes Kim Yeona and Park Ji-sung. And 4 to 5 new figures will be added each year. The Seoul Museum is the first Asian branch and 4th in the world of France's famous wax museum, Musée Grevin. The city was chosen for its growing status as a tourist destination, driven largely by the popularity of the Hallyu or Korean wave.
The opening of the museum in Seoul represents Korea's role as a leader of popular culture in Asia.
Inside the 4-story building, there are 14 exhibition halls, each with a different theme, like the red carpet room with the Hallyu stars and the presidential aircraft with global figures like UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and US President Barack Obama. The museum is expecting roughly 450,000 visitors per year, especially tourists from other Asian countries. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
A series of special performances and events titled Hello, Mr. K that started on May 15th came to an end in dramatic fashion on Saturday at the Iksan Arts Center, with a grand finale involving performances from an LED dance team crew, a Kwanggeto Samulnori team, singer Kim Yong-woo, and Ulala session. There were many interactive programs for the audience as well, as the program was designed to provide foreigners in the country greater opportunities to learn Korean culture.
The events were held for two purposes: for the citizens of Iksan to celebrate the Baekje Historic Area's addition to the UNESCO World Heritage List, and to help foreigners adjust to life in Korea and have a great time.
Hello, Mr. K is the brainchild of the Korean Culture and Information Service, or KCIS, a subsidiary of the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, and Arirang TV. And now the weather. Heat advisories have been lifted, but fine dust levels are a cause for alarm, mainly in the capital here in Korea. Clear skies with hot and humid conditions are in store for Monday. Seoul is at 32 degrees Celsius and Gwangju will be at 33. Do carry an umbrella with you, as nationwide rain is in the forecast beginning in the middle of the week. And now let's check out the weather conditions outside of Korea around the world. And that brings us to the end of this newscast. We have more coming your way at 10 p.m. Korea time, so do join us then. For now, thank you for watching.